All right. So now.
Hold on. One sec. Sorry, I muted you for a second there, and I unmuted you. We just had a couple people there. Okay. You should be back, Rashad. Are you there?
Okay. I was just gonna let everyone know that we're gonna transition to the single family panel. It's 10:03 now. We're gonna get started at 10:05.
Okay. Excellent. So, man, and of course, post in the comments, post in the chat, any takeaways, things that you're going to go out there and put to work after learning that. I know we got a ton of valuable advice in terms of the mindset. I remember myself too, before doing the first deal in multifamily, I remember literally sitting there and I had a recording of myself I would just listen to saying, I'm so happy and grateful. I've done 500 units now, right? And just having to literally affirm myself daily to keep myself sane as I was making the transition and putting the time in. I think it's such a key thing. Vinny, any 2 cents on that too? I just want to hear from you one more time. Let me try to unmute you again here. I think you might have to. There you go. Let's give us.
Oh my gosh!
One more word of wisdom on that, because.
The key thing is just like Rod said, it's making the decision, right? It's that why, and have that vision board. Because law of attraction or, the secret, everything, right? It's working 24, 7. And the key thing is a lot of people want a lot of things in life. And all of us have so many goals. But if we don't really have massive action, putting a plan down, get focused, just like Raj said, and just go for it. There is no tomorrow. You got to breathe it. You got to live it. You got to just passionately want it. And that's what I saw in Dylan. Dylan came to know me about maybe 4 years back or so, right, Dylan?
Right. Yeah, about 4 years.
I said, Dylan is going to go places. And he sure has. And I'm so proud of him, really. I didn't know anything about anything 12 years back. Or 12, 13 years back. I didn't know what COC was, cash and cash. LOI, I didn't know what LOI meant. My friend showed me on a napkin in a restaurant who was in real estate what LOI is, with a pen or pencil. And I came home and I said, holy cow, I don't know nothing about this real estate. I knew single family homes, but it's changed my life. Once you immerse yourself into what you want to learn, and that's the key. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And that's over, I know, well over 300 million in real estate speaking, and that's multifamily, now senior living development stuff, exciting stuff. So you're learning from the best of the best. And we're going to hear back from Vinny again here at, I believe, around noon, right? With the senior living.
Yeah, I think 10 o'clock my time, California time.
Session, keynote on senior living. So stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it. They call it the Silver Tsunami. There's a big push there. So be sure to tune into that. Thanks, Vin.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get going here on the next panel. Rashad, start us off.
Hey, so I see we got Corey. I see Sanjit here. Is Carlos on yet? Carlos Reyes? He may be running a little late. It's 7 a.m. on the West Coast, so we're gonna give him a little slack.
Sounds like he should be jumping on here. So we'll have him tune in, but you can start it off here.
Okay, so first I want to start off by introducing Sanjay and Corey. These two guys are instrumental in my network. I met Corey. We were with the Deal Dogs cold calling for Jake and Gino, and anybody that's willing to cold call, for me, I know that they're a go-getter, because that's one of the things in the business that people kind of run from, So, we kept their relationship and working on deals and stuff like that. We talk stocks and things like that, and we just, we meet up at events and everything. So, Corey's been very instrumental, high-level wholesaler up in New Jersey, and I'm glad to have him on the panel. Sanjay is someone who I consider a partner. We were actually working on taking down a strip center a couple months ago. We agreed on price, but once we got to the attorney stuff, they kind of went behind our back and sold it to someone else. But we kind of laugh about it now, and we got a lot of time to do deals in the future. So Sanjay runs 33 holdings. He has multiple exit strategies. He does fix and flip, buy and hold, flip and hold, and he also has a build to rent model. And we're going to start it off by talking about the different exit strategies that you can use in single family. I know Corey used the wholesaling model, and Sanjay, he uses more so build to rent and flip and hold. So Corey, would you start us off? Tell us why you like wholesaling as your exit strategy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'll just preface it by saying that I think it's really deal dependent upon what exit strategy you use. Like, we run a large wholesaling operation, so we do a lot of wholesale deals because it's quick capital, flipping paper, low risk. But there's other deals where it makes sense, to actually go and flip the deal yourself, because the time it takes to flip it and the money that you'll make in the long run will exceed what you could make with a wholesale deal. And then there's deals also that we get, that are fits for buy and hold. But so it really, for me, it's deal dependent what we do. But, the bulk of what we do is we run a large wholesale operation. And that way we can get capital back into the business at a rapid rate. And then we can use that on other ventures, be it putting it into, commercial real estate, long-term passive wealth stuff, or generating different arms of the business that feed, that the wholesaling business can feed. So it's deal dependent, but that's why I like wholesaling specifically, is because it is very low risk. It's a low barrier to entry. You can have a person who starts with zero. So if there's anybody that fits that criteria on this call and is looking to learn more, obviously, and they want to get a foot into real estate, wholesaling is a great way to do that, because it doesn't take a lot to get into it. It's a very low barrier to entry. You don't have to have that much money, that much credit. You just have to be willing to immerse yourself in it and grind and hustle and put in the work, right? Like, you got to be willing to be that guy that's going to go cold call and do whatever it takes to get the deal. So anybody can do it. And I think it's a great way to get into the business.
Right. Gotcha. So Sanjay, I know you do the build to rent model, and you're more so a long-term holder. What made you pick that exit strategy, Sanjay?
No, first off, thanks Rashad for having me on this, and thank you everyone for coming. So I think our model really, it all depends on the market cycle, one, and then two, more on the market opportunity. As you all know, in single family, one of the biggest advantages in single family is about the multiple exit strategies, unlike multifamily or commercial. So what we really do is we do the fix and flips on more the retail one. We do the fix and then also the long-term hold, which is usually a 3 to 5 year cycle. And then due to the market need, distress was going down low. So we had to pivot into more the rent to build model, where we're trying to build more affordable homes, in good locations and stuff. And that's really the market need, forcing us to go and, go learn land development, learn, how to build these homes and stuff. And of course, we are more partnering with local builders to kind of put that product out there, because it's very challenging in build to rent, because we got to figure out the cost basis on how we can make the cost as much lower for the yield to work, but at the same time also work more on a long term, how we reap the benefit of it and stuff. So, but again, the market demand is what drove us to choose and pivot into the build to rent. Again, we still do the other strategies too. We're just large enough to kind of go into whatever we need to. But we have 3 developments this year, and we're targeting about 125 lots for the rest of the year to see how we can bring them to market.
Nice. Now, Carlos.
Good morning.
Hey, good to have you here. Hey, I know it's 7 a.m. over in Phoenix, man. So I appreciate you being on this early.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Man, no problem. I just want to give you the proper introduction. A lot of people may not know who you are. Carlos is a high-level wholesaler out in Phoenix, Arizona. He owns 25 businesses. 7 of them does 7 figures per month, per year. And I'm pretty sure you would love it to be per month. But, everything's great. So I want to tell you how I came to meet Carlos. Last year, I was on Instagram, and I saw that an ad for his event, and it was the next day. And I knew I didn't have time, so I said, I just basically dropped everything. So I got to be at that event. That's somebody who I need to meet because I want to get to know all the high profile people, high operators, you know, especially when I'm trying to build out a wholesaling business. So, you know, me taking that jump, you know, now I have Carlos in my network and now he's speaking at this event. So that's the power of networking. You know, you don't have to have it all figured out. You know, I went by myself, you know, to that event and I met a ton of great people. So I'm glad to have you on, Carlos. And we're talking about exit strategies. And we want to know why you chose wholesaling as one of your exit strategies.
You know, I heard Corey, there was a gentleman here named Corey Reed who was talking about, sorry, I don't know where the hell, let me switch this up. Hold on. Let me, microphone, give me 1 second. And all right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, a little better, right?
Right.
Okay, all right. So I don't know what they did with my microphone. We were shooting something yesterday and all right, well, we're here. All right, first and foremost, good morning. I heard Corey Reed earlier, you know, he said, hey, you know, it's has a very low barrier as far as entry level, right? So it really does, you know, it really does. I'll be quite honest with you. When I started my career in real estate, and I don't have a license, by the way, when I started my career in real estate, I actually had a 9-to-5 job. You know, I had a 9-to-5 job. And I've had that job for 12 plus years. And I kind of hit a ceiling, you know, just like, you know, corporate political, you know, BS, right? I was up to get a next position that would have paid me quite well. And the guy ended up giving it to his friend that used to travel the world with him. And that happens in corporate America. Okay. So my first question is, who here still has a 9-to-5 job? I want you to raise your hand if you still work, and I don't want you to be ashamed because I had it. It took me a year to leave that job, you know, a year of working and a year of grinding on the side. Okay.
Put some more cameras on too, so you can raise the hands. We want to see the hands, see your pretty faces.
I see. So I see Myron. I see Janetta. Okay. So there's a lot of folks in here who actually still have a job. Okay, great. Well, Kristen here, Charles, right? So we're all chasing financial freedom, right? We're all chasing financial freedom. So what I did was I said, you know what? These people screwed me over. I've been at this job for 12 plus years. I was working, you know, Monday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., all the way to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're talking a minimum of 70 plus hours, you know, working for somebody else, right? Building their empire, to be quite honest with you. You know, don't get me wrong. Like, I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was making them a lot of money, right? They were paying me about $70,000 a year because I started with this company when I was 17 years old, and I was making them millions of dollars a year. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to try to work my way up. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. You know, I'm going to be the ultimate yes man. They tell me to go to Seattle, Texas, California. I'm there, right? I'm here training everybody, blah, blah, blah. I get screwed out of that position. Well, that forced me. What that did was that was the biggest blessing, right? Because why? It forced me to actually change. It forced me to make a decision. That's what happened, guys. So something clicked in my mind when I got screwed over. First and foremost, guys, when I got screwed over out of this position, I was working towards this position for 4 years. And then when they screwed me over, it's kind of like they just took the rug from under my feet. My whole world was like, wow, 12 years to this company, and what am I going to do now, right? And then 12 years at this company employed, and then 4 years working towards this position, and they just took the rug from under my feet. So they gave me what's called like a 2-week leave of absence because they knew they screwed me over, all right? 2-week leave of absence, I became extremely depressed, but in that depression, I made a decision. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a demotion. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to demote myself, and I'm not going to work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. anymore. I'm going to work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then I'm going to start, you know, I made a decision. I kept hearing about wholesale and real estate, and I'm like, well, I'm broke as shit, so I probably don't have a lot of money to flip houses. That's just the truth. So I said, okay, well, how can I get into real estate, right? And that's when, obviously, I discovered, 5 years later, I wrote a freaking book. It's a #1 new seller on Amazon, buying and selling homes category. It's called The Best Wholesaling Book Ever, right? So this is what happened. I started putting out bandit signs, handwritten bandit signs, all right? My wife would actually write them out on Wednesday, and from 11 p.m. on Friday to 2 in the morning on Saturday. And that was strategic, by the way, because the city of Phoenix starts picking them up on Monday. So I wanted a few days in between for my bandit signs to be up in these corners. Well, 6 months later of doing this, right, a lady calls me and said it's a distressed landlord. She's just tired of having this rental property. And she calls me, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to run comparables. I don't know how to make an offer. I don't even have a contract at this point. But I said, you know what? I'm going to continue to just make rough draft moves, by the way. If anybody's taking notes, make rough draft moves, all right? Stop being paralyzed with, it's called, what is it? Paralyzation by analyzation, right? So analysis paralysis is what they call it. You're over here consuming this content, watching this guy and blah, 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 and you're not making moves. Stop being stuck there. Analysis paralysis. You need to get through that, okay? So lady calls me. We work on this deal. I don't know how, through the mercy of God, I get this deal. I put it under contract, and then I find a buyer on Facebook. I don't even know how to look for buyers, guys, okay? Now you can go to cashbuyersplus.com and have access to thousands of cash buyers in your marketplace. Cashbuyersplus.com, thousands of cash buyers in your marketplace. It gives you their name, their phone number, their email. I don't care what market you're in. You're going to have, all you got to do is pick up the phone and say, hey, Corey, how's it going? This is Carlos, and, I acquire a few properties every month, blah, blah, blah. Are you still actively investing? Are you still actively investing in this area? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I am, etc. Okay, I'm going to put you on my, on my buyers list. Sounds good. Thank you. So anyway, I sell this property and I only make $5,000. But you know what, guys? That $5,000 changed my life, right? That first deal will change your life. I promise. Something will happen. Something will click when you get your first real estate deal, okay? I don't care if you're fixing and flipping. I don't care if you're wholesaling. All right. Now, if you're like me and you don't have, tens of thousands of dollars to go flip a house, just like Corey said earlier, what do you need to do? You need to go find a motivated seller, somebody who's willing to sell their property at a deep discount. You need to find this person. I don't care if it's somebody who's going through a divorce. I don't care if it's somebody who's like, hey, I got to relocate. I just don't have the funds to put the money into upgrading or bringing this property to market condition. I don't care. You got to go find this person. You can do it. And guys, Rashad, not to slam the book on people, right? But, because we only make like 12 cents off the book. That's not the point, right? So, but the point here, this book, guys, I can sit here and try to sell you a $500, $600, $700 course, right? Because don't get me wrong, we have access to those. Forget that. Go get this book, all right? And this book will give you all free marketing and paid marketing, and it's going to explain every single thing about wholesaling from A to Z, all right? Everything you ever need to know. So with that being said, I just wanted to say this, guys. I know we have a lot of folks here that are like I said, they're either employed or they're kind of dabbling, but they don't have true financial freedom, right? I wish I had I was going to show you guys something. One of my dreams was always to get an American Express Platinum card, right? And rack up, hundreds of thousands of points. And, again, because of wholesaling, like Corey said earlier, I actually gained financial freedom because what happened was I quit my job, all right? I quit my job in March of 2016 on my birthday, March 7th, 2016. And guys, I was scared as shit. All right, guys, I was so scared because why? For 12 years, all I knew was comfort, right? I'm just going to show up, clock in, get paid, get paid bi-weekly. All right. I have my 401k, my IRA, my insurance. I got all these things with, the comfort that my job gives me. So March 7th, I quit. So you got March, April, May, June. I am so scared, right? I got nothing going on at all. I'm so scared. And I just keep telling myself, because entrepreneurs, guys, you know, excuse my language, but we mind fuck ourselves more than anybody else in this world, right? Our minds are so strong, like we'll believe whatever we tell ourselves, right? So I just kept telling myself, hey man, if you can make it through this, you're gonna fly. If you can make it through this, you're gonna fly. July of 2016, we're talking about 5 months later, guys, I have my first 6-figure month in wholesaling. My first 6-figure month in wholesaling. It started with the bandit sign, but you know what I did with the $5,000? I put it back into a direct mail campaign, and that brought $90,000 back. My first campaign, I spent $2,500, 90 grand back. This is 2016. And then boom, I throw another campaign down, 30,000 gross. This is 90 gross and 30 gross. And then I put all that money back, a lot of that money back into like pay-per-click and other, you know, that's another thing, guys. Put a bunch of your money back into your business. Don't be the kind of person that makes a bunch of money and starts buying these stupid things, right? And spending it on blah, blah, blah and crap. No, I'll grab a lot of that money, put it back into your business, watch what happens, feed the fire. So anyway, July 2016, I had my first six-figure month. I have not looked back since, but this is just what I want to tell everybody on this chat, okay? Everybody on this call. Okay, I want you to write this down because this is what it's going to take. I promise you, this is my process. This is what I had to go through, and it took me a long time to learn this internally. You ready? This is called the internal success process. All right? So your internal success process, this is what it's going to take. One, you have to make a decision. Make a decision. Stop messing around. Stop dabbling. Make a decision on what it is that you want out of life. What do you want out of life? What is your ideal outcome? Make a decision. What do I want out of life, right? Two, you have to be committed. So commitment, you have to be committed to that decision. And three, sacrifice. Now, if you're sitting there asking, well, what do I need to sacrifice, Carlos? I got bad news for you. You ready? You got to sacrifice everything. We may have a couple parents in here. Hey, I have a 7-year-old. At the time she was 3. I had to sacrifice a lot of time with her, with my family, my friendships. You know, my friendships were like, man, look at this guy. Who the hell does he think he is? I'm sorry, fellas. I'm just grinding, right? I'm focused, laser focused. You have to be obsessed, right? So let's continue. Sacrifice, right? You have to sacrifice hobbies, Netflix, you know, bars, clubs, whatever it is. You just have to make the sacrifice, all right? So make a decision, commitment, be committed to that decision, sacrifice, work your ass off. That's number 4. Work your ass off. This isn't going to just appear on the, you're not going to be sitting on the couch watching, you know, what is it, Joe Exotic or the Tiger King guy, and then boom, you know, success just appears on your lap. So no, that's not going to happen. You have to work your ass off. You have to be obsessed and work your ass off. And number 5, guys, this is the most important one. You ready? Never, ever, ever quit. That's right. You only fail when you quit. I don't care. See, failing, that's part of this process. Failing is part of this process. Oh, man, I couldn't get that deal. Oh, man, that guy won't talk to me about, you know, real estate. Nobody gave me the time of the day when I was beginning, guys. You know, I was failing. And, you know, that's part of the process. But failure, that's a dead end, guys, okay? That's when it's like, it's over. Like, failure is like, I quit, right? That's a dead end. So failing is part of the process, guys, okay? So, again, you know, it all started with wholesaling for me, thank God.
Right.
And then now, to be quite honest with you, we have shifted our model, especially through COVID-19, where we used to wholesale about 95% of our properties. Now, we raised private capital. And for those of you that don't know what that is, we raised a bunch of money, all right, in this particular case, from a bunch of Mormons. They gave us $12 million to play with. And now we take down a bunch of properties, but we only take down cookie cutter properties that need, you know, 7, 10,000, 12,000 in repairs. Like, we want to be in and out, right? We want our crews, our you know, our project managers to get in there and get out in a matter of less than 2 weeks. Paint and carpet back on the market. Paint and carpet back on the market. All right, so we're talking 1990 built, newer, etc. So our model went from 95% wholesale to now we're about 60% wholesale, 40% fix and flip, or you can call it wholesale. You know, it's
So
like
Carlos, so with that being said, you know, with the system you have, I want to get Sanjay and Corey back in the loop. So take Sanjay, take me to through your system as well, from start to finish when you're doing a build or rent or a flip and hold.
Yeah, I think, you know, you guys hear me? Rashad, you
Yep.
hear me? Okay. So I think for us, it's, you know, as with most of you, I would highly encourage you. Always, we work backwards, figuring out where we want to be, depending on the strategy. And then we work backwards. And build to rent is a little bit challenging in the sense it's more a long-term cycle. You have to give away some initially and not necessarily make the dough up front, but more make it towards the back end in the interest of, especially when you're pivoting into a new strategy and stuff. So, and then of course in the acquisitions, rehabs, either the flips or the holds we basically work with a lot of wholesalers, work with a lot of banks directly, work with other receivers and stuff, and where needed owners too directly. So we buy a lot of portfolio of single family homes. We buy onesies too. Every month we buy about $1 million or more in real estate, mostly in the Southeast. So we have an acquisition team and we have a buy box. I think the most important thing is to have that buy box on what is that you're doing. Like Carlos said, they like to be in and out pretty quick in 10K and below in rehab. Ours are more in the, you know, depending on, we have 3 different strategies. You know, the in and out is more the 10 and below. We have more the medium scale, which is more the 20, 25 grand. And then we have 50 grand and above, which is more a gut job and everything. Because we can either flip them to the retail market, or we can then just do the hold for 3 to 5 years like we do. So for us, the advantage, we take everything, but depending on the type of strategy, we allocate it either to a hold, either to a flip, or more to the, let's say, the rent to build to rent. But I think by far the build to rent, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so Sanjay, you know what you're describing here is extremely people intensive and process intensive, right? Between the acquisitions you guys are taking place on and the fact that you're building the rent, I assume are you managing the properties afterwards too? And what advice can you give us on scaling in terms of having the right people and process is in place? How do you manage all of that all at one time?
Yeah, guys, I'm sure as Rod earlier at the 9 o'clock session told us, in the end, it's a people's business, and then it is a real estate business. So you got to have the right people on your team, either through partnerships or, you know, just employees and stuff. So we have a very entrepreneurial driven partnership model. We are a vertically integrated company. So we have brokerage in-house, we have management in-house, construction in-house. So, and then we have leaders for each of those things who are also partners with us. So yes, it is a very people intensive business. So you got to have the right part. Again, not necessary you need to have them as partners, but just like Rashad and I, we work together on deals, right? He's helping us with some where we are, and there are other construction arms we do. So I think the key is to have alignment in terms of who is good in what, and then partner with them. We partner with a lot of acquisition, a lot of wholesalers in the business, right? They know our buy box, so they give it to us. Hey, these guys buy this kind of product, you know, 1980s and above, 10K to 30K in rehab. They know us. They do 1 or 2 deals, they get used to us. So in the end, it's a very people business. You got to put yourself out there, and you got to really network with the right people within your, you know, realm of influence, so you know what you're doing good.
And we had a question from Omar in terms of how this model differs from the ones you guys are describing. I guess you could speak to either the acquisition or even the build to rent model.
So the turnkey model is more. See, so again, as I said, we do multiple strategies, right? So from a turnkey model, it's really it's the 9 yards, right? We buy, we rehab, and then we put a tenant in there, and then we sell it as a turnkey asset, as an income producing asset to more an investor, right? Who does not want to do the heavy lifting, who just, they're either a doctor or a businessman or professional, and they just want to park money with us, but they want to still hold title, right? So that's more a turnkey model. So we kind of still manage the asset, either it's a new build asset or it's an existing home and stuff.
So you are selling them when you build to rent. You're building it to rent, and then
a small portion. As I said, we are much a larger organization, and then we have multiple strategies. One of the reason is to build synergies because we raise capital through high net worth individuals. We tell them, don't be a landlord, be an investor. But there are a lot of people out there who prefer to hold title to an asset. So we don't mind even selling a small portion. It's also a diversification strategy. Yes, we are a fund.
So how does that work?
Yeah.
You people invest in a blind pool? Is it like just a big fund they invest into, and then they just trust you to go out there and find the deals and manage the capital? And how do you get started with something like that, right? If someone's considering that, because it seems like it's a tough sell at first. I mean, how much of a track record did you have to have before you could pull that off?
Yeah. So again, I'm a technologist by trade, and like Carlos said, I was working my butt off between a full-time job, pivoted into real estate. Single family was the lowest barrier, and the recession happened. So we all know single family has been a very growth pattern in how the asset class has morphed itself from being a mom and pop business to being, more a business per se, with the larger REITs coming in. So we started off as really flipping to these larger REITs, larger private equity firms. And in the process of doing that, we were frustrated because of how they do things. And then we said, why can't we do this ourselves? That's the question we asked. And that's why I encourage all of you to, it is no different out there. How an Invitation Home does, or an America for Rents does, or these larger companies. You just have to ask the question yourself, why can't I do this myself? Of course, we couldn't do it at the scale Invitation Homes do it. But then we figured out I had my own capital, pulled in a friends and family, and you got to share the wealth. We went to friends, we went to family, and we said, hey, do you want to make 15% return on your money? Then we started giving them 10 and this stuff like that. So our fund model really came last year. After 5 years of being in real estate, getting beaten up every other way, we aggregated a portfolio of about 150 single family homes, and we exited to one of the largest REITs in the business, Amherst Capital. And then we capitalized ourselves, and we found the challenges of what we had in the last run, really, right? The challenge is finding capital, finding a deal, then going raising capital. So we figured the best approach was to really go and find capital first, but then you have to have a track record. You got to be able to convince people on how you could. It's challenging, and we just got started there. So our goal is to raise about $30 million, right now. Of course, we're doing it in smaller chunks, and we encourage people, don't be landlords, be an investor, because a lot of people don't want to be an active investor. They want to be more passive, right? So it really depends on how you create a fund. It takes 50 grand to go to an attorney, do a private placement memorandum. Then you got to give the whole sauce to the world on who your partnerships are, what other companies in the process make money. You got to tell everything, and you got to be registered in the SEC, even though you don't report all that. So it's a little complex. I would highly encourage for beginners starting, get your feet wet, get to know, do it, find the right people, and always question yourself, why can't I do it? And then you will.
Right.
And start small always.
Right. Nice. So Corey, my next question for you. So take us through your business, your system from start to finish.
Yeah. We don't have a fund or anything set up right now, so it's a bit different, but we're just essentially marketing on a mass scale. We're in 4 different markets, and we're just picking up wholesale deals through just a bunch of different marketing channels, and we have a large investor base. And one thing that we've started doing is just working on the dispo and transactions end for other investors as well, to allow them to focus on actually grabbing, more deals and acquiring more deals. So, we've focused a lot on building out that end of our business so we can operate as that end for other people's companies, and form those partnerships. And we've even started to, be in the works of franchising our own brand as well, and allowing other people to use our resources, systems, and things like that, and start their own wholesaling business that way. And obviously it operates a little bit different than a typical franchise. It's not like you're going out and buying a McDonald's, but it's sort of the same model, and we're trying to take it there. So we're trying to do some interesting out of the box things, like as it relates to wholesaling. But you know, with the wholesaling business, I mean, we're just in several different markets, and we're just, again, acquiring deals through marketing. Our acquisitions team is locking up those deals, putting them under contract. We're then sending those deals over to you know, the dispo department, and they're finding a buyer for them, and then, you know, we're closing the deal and making the spread on the deal. So, you know, it's nothing super complicated, or, you know, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel with it. It's just a matter of scaling the business and getting into profitable markets, and you know, doing what's best during different market cycles, or, you know, when things are going on right now.
Gotcha. Carlos, so I know you within 3 to 4 years you grew your business to a massive level. What did you do to grow your business to that level in such a short period of time? And also, how do you manage 25 businesses?
That's a great question, Rashad. Let me just say the following, right? So it started with my partner and I. And, you know, a lot of us, right, like we may be at our jobs and we may be complaining about like, oh man, I can't wait to leave here. But the fact of the matter is, at that corporate job, I was learning so much, right? Because I was in management. I was learning hiring, I was learning scheduling, I was learning numbers, I was learning how to run a business. So as soon as we got, you know, we really got going and started making 6 figures in July of 2016 through wholesaling. This is 100% wholesaling at the time. Right away, I knew that I'm like, hey, I don't want to do this forever, right? I want to have some financial freedom. I want to have, you know, the freedom of time. I want to be able to, you know, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I want to be able to venture off to other, you know, other industries and things like that. So what we did was we started investing some of that money back into people, you know. So our first successful hire was an acquisitions manager. All right. So fast forward now, that was 2017. So I did the business. This was late 2017. I did the business for first. I was the acquisition guy. I was the disposition guy. I was the transaction coordinator. I was doing every single position except marketing, which was my business partner. And he was doing marketing, systems, which is integration and all that, CRM, Podio. And, you know, it was just us two. But once we started building an army, I mean, our company really exploded, guys. You know, you can look up our company, nationalcashoffer.com and offerkey.com. We don't just wholesale in Arizona. We've done deals everywhere, right? Nashville, Columbus, New Jersey. We do LA heavy, Texas heavy, Arizona heavy, Nevada heavy, right? So fast forward to now, that acquisition guy that I hired back in 2017, he's our sales director. He oversees all our other sales guys, our acquisition managers. So we have a sales director, right? We have a CFO. We hired her last year, and it changed our life, right? We started really tracking our numbers, looking at our KPIs. We have a CFO. We have a COO, right? She handles the operation side of the companies. We have a business development manager, right? And we have junior acquisition managers under, so sales director, acquisition managers, junior acquisition managers. We have 2 TCs. Excuse me. Oh, 2 TCs, 2 transaction coordinators, and 2 disposition managers. Now, the 2 dispo people, they handle just wholesale. And then I have an asset manager who handles all our projects. He handles all our flips. He's the communication between the project managers and and us, right? So our business, our real estate company is completely systemized and departmentalized, and we have department managers in every single department. So once that happened, Rashad, we were actually able to start building all these other okay, well, let's build a solar company, right? Solarfuse.com. All right, let's build a digital marketing company, magnusdigital.com. Let's build a medical company, medicalsurplus.com, right? So then because once we delegate, we systemize and delegate our entire organization, our company, then we started going off to other ventures. I don't recommend that until you master and systemize and delegate that first priority, then you start thinking about other ventures. Don't get caught up in the shiny object syndrome, okay? Don't do that until you're actually ready to roll, because then you're going to ruin you're going to ruin your baby, right? You're going to ruin your primary source of income. So that's how that started for us, Rashad.
Nice.
Really
Nice.
great.
That was great.
We got a great stuff. And again, I think, these guys, especially, on the wholesaling side with the acquisitions, the one thing we could all learn, no matter what your strength is, no matter what you're growing, I say this from the multifamily side, a lot of us use old school CRMs, or we're using Asana as our deal management, right?
Wow.
And it's crazy to see, the level of intricacy. I know I've seen it from Corey, and I know across the board with that, there's very thorough strategies and systems you guys have in place to automate setting out contracts, streamlining your deals, having the right people in place to manage that process. So if anyone is interested in that, definitely be sure to pick up the book and connect with these guys to get those kind of systems in place to better manage your deal flow, better put processes into place. And I have a question from Raj for Sanjay. In terms of COVID and learning from you, what has been the impact from COVID on the 33 holding acquisitions, the overall performance from that? How do you mitigate risk, since it's the fund model and you're promising expected target returns for your investors?
No, good question. I get asked this a lot, and I keep telling folks, we are value-added real estate. So be it a good market or a bad market, we are buying value-added deals, right? So how we look at deals has changed a little bit for sure, but being a fund model and having the advantage of stacked capital helps us kind of more think 2-3 years from now, as opposed to thinking about today and the present situation. So it's a blessing and a curse too. The blessing is, yes, we can, when everybody is panicking, we are looking 2 years from now, so we can go do more acquisition, and deal flow actually has been increasing due to the recent 2-3 months of panic that we have seen. How this impacts systematically is a matter of probably more data coming in terms of tenants paying rents, and the impacts on the financial capital markets and debt capital and all that. So it's yet to be seen. So we just, as a company, we're stress tested for about a 20% loss of income. That is how we operate. And then being a fund model, we can navigate the ups and downs for the short run in lieu of doing it for the long term. And also our multiple exit strategies helps us with creating the returns, right? If you have to make sure the returns are there, we may be more into flipping versus holding, right? So it kind of helps us navigate all those scenarios. So in short, COVID has definitely helped us rethink some things, re-strategize some things, but overall deal flow has been high. And then we are more positive than being negative. But it is yet to be seen, and we are constantly changing depending on the data coming in, month over month, from rent collections or discounts or ARVs or lenders giving us loans, and all these things.
Okay, excellent. And Sanjay, we have one more question for you. This is going to be from Sid. Sid, I'm going to try to unmute you and see if you want to ask the question. We'll just try to get it more like that. So it's like we're giving you the mic here. So Sid, you should be unmuted.
Oh, perfect. Hey, Sanjay, good morning. Just curious about what's the typical timeline for build-to-rent model, and what kind of a capital requirements are you guys trying to raise for these?
Yeah, so the build-to-rent model is different. Again, I'll be honest, we just kicked off our first build-to-rent model, which got started the month COVID hit us. But the lender, frankly, loaned us on 10 properties out of the 47 lots we had, and then they kind of put a pause on. So now we have a traditional bank giving us the loan on the other one. So from a typical timeline, it all depends on where you're trying to get in. If you just want to be in the vertical, you want to buy finished lots, then it is a little bit faster, depending on what you're trying to build. We frankly are trying to build these boxes, I call a production line. They're all the same with a different exterior, 2 or 3 models, no big customizations. The spec is pretty standard, so as fast as you gone. Just the build, not the land development, the lot and all that, is 90 days. From the day we break ground, we put the slab, to having a finished product house is 90 days. Right now, we are at 67 days right now. And if you follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook, I usually post updates and stuff. on how these progress go and all. But again, it all depends on the builders, the other stuff. But the honest answer in the build to rent is the real challenge is always in land developed lots, because those are very tough to find. And even when you go find land, which is the best pricing to do, and go through, doing the entitlements, and we are doing all that. We like to go all the way to the start, do it all, because our returns are much higher, right, that way. So we have 2 projects in zoning with City of Marietta that we're going through the zoning process. But that process so far has taken us on one project, I would say at least 9 months. And we just got the zoning approval last week. The other one, we are just 3 months into it, and we are currently in zoning. So ground up construction with the vertical is 90 days for us. Anything before is variable depending on what process you're buying the land at.
Excellent.
Nice. So I know with the attendees, some people may have a little more experience than others. But my next question is for, to try to help the newer investors. So what advice would you give someone just starting out on their journey? And how important were mentors, in your development to get you all to this level? Carlos, you want to start?
Go?
I think you're muted.
Right,
you're on mute, Carlos.
Yeah, guys, you're never going to stop having mentors. I still have 3 mentors that I go to. But I call them my board of advisors, right? My financial mentor, his name is Ed Cobell, and him and his family, they own the 49ers, they own the San Jose Sharks. This guy's a billionaire. He made over $6 billion after the 2008 crash in the commercial sector. So I talk to him Tuesdays, 9 a.m. every week, clockwork, right? I have a spiritual mentor. He's a pastor out of Tampa. His name is Christian Ferris. And I have a self-mastery mentor. His name is Jeremy Eugene Wilson, and he's in Sedona. So you're never going to stop having mentors. I love mentors, and let me tell you why. They cut the learning curve, right? All the things that, it might take you 3 to 5 years to learn. They can compact all that knowledge probably in like 6 to 12 months. So, when I got started in this business, I was working my butt off so hard that I didn't have time to look for mentors. But I'll tell you what, I was in people's direct messages. I was in people's DMs on like social media. Hey man, can you give me 15 minutes of your time? I'll take you to lunch. 99% of them said no. So I made an oath to myself. I said, if I ever, climb my way through this industry and scale, I'm always going to be the guy that I'm never going to be the untouchable guy. I'm always going to answer back. I don't care how long it takes me. It takes me quite a while, but I'm going to answer back to anybody that has a question or anybody that needs help, because I've been on the other end of that. Okay. But if you have access to a mentor, please keep in mind, guys, I said this is something I learned from my mentor recently. The most expensive thing you'll pay for is who you pay attention to, right? The most expensive thing you'll pay is who you pay attention to. So when you get a mentor, guys, it can't be just this guy that's making a bunch of money. Other core values and principles have to align with yours, right? So keep that in mind. Is this person a good father? So, somebody who I would love to model off of, right? Is this person a good brother, a good son, a good businessman, entrepreneur? Does he care about people? So you have to make those things align, guys. It's not just about money. A lot of people make money, and anybody can make money, but not anybody can have real, good, solid core values.
Nice. What about you, Corey?
Yeah, to echo Carlos, I mean, I think mentors are absolutely instrumental, and I know that they were in my upbringing through business. I don't know where I would be today without some of the mentors that I still have, and I'm sure there'll be many to come. So I don't think it ever stops, right? I don't think you reach a certain point and you just, okay, now I'm at the top. I don't need a mentor anymore. There's always somebody, whether it be financial, however far you up. I'm sure that even the most, you look at guys like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, the top of the top as it relates to finance. Those guys still, have people that mentor them in different aspects of their life and their business. And I know they communicate with each other. So I think it's important that, we do the same thing. And I know for me, when I first started in wholesaling, I was pretty much the same as Carlos, right? I was in people's DMs, asking people for help and really getting not a whole lot of response. I don't think I knew, Carlos at the time. I don't think he was as big on social media back then. So didn't reach out there. But, some of the guys, the typical gurus and things like that you reach out to, and it's kind of the same thing, right? I mean, you get really no response or a generic response to come to some sort of, event that, really doesn't give you all that much information. So I like the fact that there are people out there in the space now that are actually delivering great content and actually changing lives. And I think if you're going to be in any sort of mentorship space or offering that service, or if somebody, gives you a ring about that, you need to be somebody that's going to be legitimate with it. But it's instrumental, and it will cut your learning curve. You could do it alone. I absolutely believe that you can get there without anybody else if you're doing the right stuff and you're hustling hard enough. But if you find somebody who's already been there, done that, and is willing to help you in that, I absolutely think you can get there. You can go much farther, much faster.
Nice. Dylan, do we have any more questions for the Q&A?
Anyone else have questions? Just shoot us a message. Let us know. We'll unmute you. We'd love to have some questions here. We've got a few minutes left. Any questions from the audience?
Hey, yo, can I jump right in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Carlos, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, going good, man. Hey, for marketing.
What's up, Alex?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, since COVID happened, did you guys turn up marketing or did you turn it down? How is that going for you guys?
You know what, brother? So, in 2019, we spent $1,077,868.90 in real estate marketing, right? And we now, when we hired our CFO, guys, everything changed for us, because now we had somebody actually looking at every single dollar that went out, how much it brought in, right? ROI. And we started seeing, a couple of things, certain quarters, right? We were like, okay, well, the first and the fourth quarter are kind of slow. So what's crazy is look at the quarters that, this happened, right? March 16 is kind of when COVID, went really down, right? So March 16, that was still the first quarter. We were about to ramp up because we turned it down in November of 2019. We were like, okay, we're not going to spend, 90 or 100 grand this month. We're going to turn that all the way down to like 40 to 50. And then January, February, and March came, and we were like, okay, well, we're going to, our numbers from 2019, it says that, we spent this much and got this amount of money. So blah, blah, blah. So we naturally just reduced our marketing expenses by 50%. And I guess it was a blessing from God, that we weren't spending all that money, because I don't know I don't think it would have broke us, but I'll tell you what, we wouldn't have got, the return just because of everything that went down. People were scared. Now, what I will say is, guys, right now, inventory levels were kind of at a historic all-time low in the first place before COVID. And once COVID hit, people canceled so many listings. You're talking a very high percentage of listings that even plummeted the inventory level to even a more drastic level, right? So what we're seeing right now, Alex, is, yes, we're still doing a lot of marketing, but now, we're taking down 40 to 50% of our properties, right? Cookie cutters, pen and carpet back in the market. And these things are flying over asking price and multiple offers. So that's what's happening right now, presently in the market for us.
Okay. And for marketing, what channel is working best for you right now?
Cold call. So you know what? We were always a pay-per-click company, right? We were always a pay-per-click company. MagnusDigital.com, Dave at MagnusDigital.com. We were always a pay-per-click company for like straight 3 years. And then once we got CallGeeks.com, which is Jason, CallGeeks, this is how it went down. When we tried doing the Filipino VAs in 2017, we got like 18 deals from cold calling, right? Just cold calling. And then in 2018, when we actually got Call Geeks, we got 83 deals from cold calling. And then in 2019, we got 110 deals from cold calling. They had 25 in the first quarter. So they're probably around 40 deals deep. I think we'll hit over 100 through them. So callgeeks.com, look, Jason at Call Geeks. So this guy's a monster. We have 25 agents with Call Geeks. That has become our #1 marketing strategy. And in SEO, search engine optimization, is 2, and pay-per-click is now #3. So it's definitely all mostly digital now.
Okay, thank you.
For sure.
Hey, where can I get that ring at? That ring that you got?
Oh, I got this from Peter Marco on Beverly Hills, brother. You know, it's you know what? I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna get married, I better have a really nice looking ring, man, because you know I can't be going around with those old school rings. So that's why I got this ring.
All right, man. Good seeing you.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Nice. We got time for another about 2 more questions. Do anybody have any questions for any other panelists? Carlos, Sanji, Corey?
I'm going to unmute everybody. I unmuted everyone for a minute here. Just
On the discount, it says 72 music songs for $6 a month.
yeah, I should mute. Maybe that was a mistake. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Let's try that again. Unmute. I'm trying to unmute you guys. I'm trying to unmute Corey and Carlos. Are you guys okay, cool. What else we got? Anyone else? Anyone have questions? Shoot us a message here. I just mute everyone back again.
Yeah, well, I mean, if anyone don't have any other questions, I appreciate all the panelists coming and giving knowledge. And make sure, what's that book? The best wholesaling book ever? Is it? Make sure
the best wholesaling book ever, guys. Before I wrote this book, I downloaded like 22, 23 other, wholesaling books, right? And I'm like, okay, let me see what their table of contents looks like. Then I read every single page and every single book. And my goal was to make it better, thank God. And we've already sold over 6,000 copies. So it's been a blessing. Our community has really, really responded. So I'm very thankful for that. The best wholesaling book ever on Amazon.
Most definitely. I put the link in the chat room. And once again, I appreciate everybody coming out on the panel and dropping knowledge. And feel free to hang around. We're going to get right into the fix and flip panel in the next 5 minutes. And, we'll get right back to it.
All right, guys. God bless you guys. Have a great Saturday, okay? I'm going to go back to sleep.
Great content.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
Thanks, Rashad, for having me.
All right, thanks. Enjoy.
God bless you guys.
Cool.
Rashad,
Thanks a lot, guys.
thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody.
All right, Corey.
Good stuff. All right, Malhar, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
I haven't seen you in a while, man. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah,